What?
Jessica I would nominate Jessica Cole as the secretary for the year.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Jess.
Sorry. I was off internet then. I missed just a smidge. Everybody froze.
Welcoming our newest member, Maria Ryan, and we're just giving her a minute or two to introduce herself. Maria?
Thank you.
Just a little bit of background. I've lived in Westwood for 33 years. I was a teacher in Foxborough, Westwood, and Boston for a number of years, from 70 to 87 in Foxborough. And then after a few years off in Westwood Nursery School, and then I finished my career in Boston. And I taught multiple grades, literacy, and lots of things. And so I worked at Brooks Brothers for fun and discount. And I'm thrilled to be part of this group. I admire you all. I think it's just great that I am able to join you, and I'm very excited, and I'll do anything you want as long as I can. At least I'm starting off with the computer. And so I don't know what else to say about myself. I have 5 children. I have 12 grandchildren, and we're busy babysitting and helping out the kids. And I love to read. I'm often in the library, and the librarians are terrific. They help so much. So again, I'm very happy to be on this board. Thank you.
Welcome to the board, Maria. We look forward to input and your ideas and your experience as a teacher. And so thank you. All right. So I will accept a motion to approve the minutes of the April 12th, 2021 minutes meeting. Does anybody have any additions, amendments, deletions, assertions? No. I'll accept the motion to approve said minutes.
So
Motion.
Made by Trustee Macy Phelps, second by Trustee Van Al. Call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps.
Aye.
Trustee Persons.
Aye.
Trustee Van Al.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Ryan.
I
And the chair also votes aye.
Should Maria abstain?
I can't. I don't think I can vote
Okay.
because I wasn't on the board at that time.
Trustee Ryan abstains.
Right.
Okay. The minutes are approved with 1 abstention. The next item on the agenda is the acting director's report, which is traditionally accepted as submitted, but we do allow the acting director in this case to highlight a few things. So Lizzie, is there anything you'd like to bring to our attention or anything else you'd like to add to the report?
Yes, we found out later last week that the Children's Department did receive the STEM grant from the Foundation of Westwood Education. So we're really excited. It was all Christy Pasquarello's work. She did a great job with the grant, and we're excited to get busy getting those STEM kits hopefully ready for the summer, toward the end of the summer, so they'll be able to be circulated. So we're excited about that. And the library teamed up with Youth and Family Services and Westwood Early Childhood. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this past week was specifically Children's Mental Health Awareness. And so we each teamed up and did a story walk. So the library is holding one at Hale, and Youth and Family Services has one at Senkai, and one at University Station. They have a little walkable green space there. So each of the books that we chose have to do with mindfulness, breathing exercises, things like that. So those will be up for the month of May. So that's another newer addition. And we're getting ready for summer reading. So we're going to be doing some staff training this week of relearning Beanstack. And we're really excited to have folks in the building this summer as we do summer reading. Those are some things we're working on.
Great. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the director's report?
I just had one comment. I was very excited to see that Susie Canali has taken the position in
Yes.
conference. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to jump ahead to my staffing update.
But sorry.
That's what I did last time. I think the first time I did this, I got really excited about my report. And then as we moved along, I was like, I already talked about that. But yeah, Susie Canali is
why don't we move to the next item on the agenda, which is the assistant director, the acting director's staffing update.
Perfect. Good transition. So we have a new adult services / reference librarian. That's Susie Canale. She applied. We interviewed 3 different candidates, and we were delighted that she's jumped on board in this new position. Abby Walsh, who you all met last time, really connected and is excited, and they're already getting busy with summer reading initiatives. So Susie is working her way through her master's degree. So we're happy to support her in her learning journey, and we're really happy to have her talents. We have her more at the library, so that's better. So more gardening programs, she's got full of ideas, some recipe things happening. So that's the biggest news. Yep. And then we had a couple other part-time shifts in the reference department that we decided to collate together to have another 3rd dedicated person to the reference department. It's something that we've needed for years, especially as we embark on reopening and getting more staffed upstairs and getting ready to do things like tech help and lots of sorts of services that we definitely need a 3rd person for. We are now going out for a 20-hour part-time reference position as well. So we posted that position last week at the same time as our technical services library assistant position, which is also a benefited position. We did add, instead of the reference hours that were part of that one, those are now all in one reference position. We have a circulation shift that's part of that, and a children's shift. So we're really looking to have library assistants that are cross-trained, that can, be with the public, learn the back and the front facing. So we had a lot of candidates. We had 28 candidates for that position. So we have a bunch of names that we're excited to bring in for interviews in the next week or so for that. And then we have 3 new substitute library assistants. We have Jeffrey Soames, Michelle Parker, and Janice Grady, who is a local of Westwood. And Karen Gallagher has already brought them in, got them trained, getting them trained, and ready to be on board with the library team.
I see that.
Busy staffing.
I see that Karen is here as part of the meeting. Karen, did you want to add anything? No, I guess not. Okay. Lizzie, why don't you, Karen, did you want to add anything?
No, I'm really excited to have some extra staff. We don't actually have any on-call staff right now, between transitioning to positions where staff members retired and staff within the building moved up. So we really needed to have some backup on-call library assistants. So it's great, and glad to have a local person. We have the first gentleman who's joining us, and Michelle Parker works at the Braintree Library. And so she has a lot of experience. So we're very happy with the candidates.
Well, and while we have you, Karen, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to thank you for the tremendous work you and your staff has done over the past year with the COVID, and the amount of services that you've been able to deliver to the people of Westwood. So please accept our gratitude and our admiration for the work you've done.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Lizzie, why don't you, for the next meeting, invite our new reference director to join us and introduce
That's
herself?
great. Yes, I will put that down. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on the staffing update? Trustee Van Al?
I was just curious, Lizzie, when the postings for those 2 positions close. So
they close May 21st, but we've had a lot of popularity for those 2 positions. So we have a really good crew of candidates that we can bring in with
that
28.
you can start interviewing already. That's great.
I know.
Great. Very good.
Was Abby's position also posted outside? Not Abby, I'm sorry. The one that Susie took?
Yes, that is. We did. We had 2 other external candidates for that position.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments on the staffing update? No, I believe Joan Courtney Murray, the HR director of the town, is with us this evening. So I'm going to let her take a start on the next item of the agenda, which is the library director search update. Joan, thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone.
And thank you for all the work you've done to get us to where we are now.
Thank you. It's a good team effort. So just as an update, we have the search committee interviewed, just historically that we brought in for an interview 7 candidates to be interviewed. Very strong pool. We actually brought 5 in for a second round interview, and then identified 3 finalists who came to the library on different days last week, and each spent about 4 hours meeting various groups within the library, the department heads, members of the trustees who are not on the search committee who are able to come in, some friends of the library staff, and then finally a subset of the search committee, including the 3 trustee members and Christopher Coleman and myself. So it was a long day for the candidates, and we're compiling the feedback from that day, and I'll be passing that on to the search committee tomorrow.
It's my expectation that if we have a candidate that we're prepared to recommend to the full board before our meeting on June 14th, that I would post a special meeting for that purpose, so we don't have to wait. But and if not, we'll do it at our June 14th meeting. But if we're ready to go, I don't see any reason why to wait another 4 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever. But I would just add that it's been a very rigorous process. We have a good field of final candidates, and Joan, again, thank you there was a lot of logistics involved here, particularly last week. But I think we've undertaken a process that allowed a lot of not only the department heads and the library staff, but some of our most important supporters and friends to be part of the process, and I think it's going to yield a good result. I don't know if Trustee Persons or Trustee Van want to add anything.
No, I think you've summarized it well.
Agreed.
Okay. So we will be, if we're not ready until June 14th, we'll do it June 14th. If we are ahead, we'll call a special meeting. The next item on the agenda is, and again, Joan, thank you for joining us on this, is our monthly COVID-19 update. So we'll start with Joan, and then Lizzie, if you have anything you want to add. Joan?
Okay, so I think the news is getting better and better. I'm delighted to report. So Governor Baker did give an update. I wasn't able to catch that today. I believe he gave one today, but I do know that we are proceeding apace with the reopening of Massachusetts. I believe we're in phase 4, step 2 at this point. And I won't go into the details of what that means for all the different sectors, but we are definitely moving forward towards getting back to normal, whatever that turns out to be. I'm not sure it will ever go back to exactly the way it was, but who knows? But I will tell you that I think the plans that Lizzie and her department heads have in place for steadily increasing appointments, the town buildings. We don't have a firm date yet, but they are all open now by appointment to residents. And so, but we don't have a firm date when the doors will be unlocked and anyone can come in. But the standard safety precautions still apply. 6 feet of social distancing required, masks in all public areas, especially when 6 feet of distance is not possible. But if someone has their own office, for example, they don't have to wear a mask inside their office. Hygiene, of course, still very important. Cleaning important, although in a meeting that I had this morning with our health director and Christopher Coleman and Pam Dukeman and Nina Arena DeRosa from the COA, we're talking about starting to, we've been like really blanketing with disinfecting, our custodial crew is like going through town buildings and disinfecting constantly throughout the day. And now the science is showing us that actually COVID-19 is really not spread by, doorknobs and things like that. So we're starting to evaluate how much of that extra precaution we need. Obviously, still very clear, clear and thorough cleaning and disinfecting, but maybe not quite as, omnipresent throughout the day. So it's all good. And I think that I would defer to you and to, you know, Lizzie in her role as interim director to decide what the right pace is for reopening the library. I will tell you that the COA is shooting to have a soft opening on July 10th with socially distanced programming for seniors. So, you know, that takes a lot of organization to get to that point, but, you know, we're very, very happy that to be having these conversations rather than the just slow down. You know, I think we're caution, safety procedures, but we're moving in the right direction.
Okay.
Chair,
Any questions? Yes, trustee Persons?
who decides the amount of cleaning, for instance, that's necessary at the library? Do the janitors get that from the DPW folks? Does Lizzie make that determination? Like who's deciding?
I think that that's been, you know, the custodial staff in the library, which is great, is not actually under the purview of the DPW custodial department for all the rest of the town buildings. So I think that that's been, you know, carried over from when the former director was there, and that, you know, I don't know what kinds of conversations you've had, Lizzie, in your role as interim director, but I think there was an understanding between the director and the interim director and the custodial staff about how much of that is being done.
We were definitely going in line with the facilities of what other town buildings were, if not a little more, because we've had public in the building. So like, for instance, the study seats are a good example that we do have that hour gap in the middle. And for the 5 study seats that have been, our custodian does go over in that hour and do a clean before the next group comes in. And then every evening, our evening custodian has a whole spray disinfectant system that does all of the areas, a lot of the areas that are frequented by the public. So we've just been going in line. I've been talking to Jimmy from facilities to make sure that that's the standard of what they've been doing, but that as the conversation has changed with the same news about touch points, that's when we're trying to evaluate how often can we open up study spaces, you know, without that break? Do we leave things out for as needed for the public themselves to clean up before they sit down or things like that? So it's something we're going to be talking about as we think about our biggest next step is tech help in using the computers. And so that's something that we're talking about is, okay, do we have, you know, washable keyboards, and is that necessary? Do we have gloves out and as needed? Those kind of things.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I turn it over to Lizzie? Lizzie, is there anything you want to update us on or add?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. I don't think I mentioned it last time, actually. We want to move away from the appointments for browsing. I think the public has been really respectful of masks and social distancing and has been monitoring, you know, how long they stay in the library in general. So we want to move towards an occupancy of the building itself and have you know, people can sign in with contact tracing, but they don't have to make an appointment before they even come to the library. So there's a system in place where it's the sensors that can tell how many people have been in the building, and we set the max. So once I do the square footage, that will say, you know, because we have all this shelving and furniture, so it's not just the layout of the building, it's actually, okay, how many people can be in children's in this space, in this space. But when we have these sensors set up, they can be connected to the library director's phone or computer. And if it reaches max, that's when you know, okay, we can't have any more people in the building. I don't anticipate that happening. People have been pretty good about coming in, getting their things and moving out, aside from the study seats. But what is great about that is that from our website, if you're thinking about going to the library and you are a little worried of how busy it is, you can see in real time, it's 8% full or it's 12% full. And then someone leaves and it goes back down to 10. So you could be in the parking lot, and if you're a little uneasy, you can see how full it is. So other libraries in Minuteman have adapted to that as a transition away from appointments, but still giving some control over how busy it is at different times. And then with that, there's a lot of great data too for us to know when is the busiest time? How often do people like to use the library at this time? So I think there's benefits to looking into something like that, and definitely checking with the Board of Health to see, you know, what specific signage. We still need signage that says, you know, if you have symptoms, please don't enter. If you, you know, and still have something that they can contact trace when they come in. But it does alleviate that, oh, I didn't make an appointment, I can't get to the, I guess I can't go in. Because I definitely think that appointments are a barrier to some people. And I really want to remove that as much as possible while still maintaining safety and numbers and things like that.
Lizzie, I would just mention that you may get some help from our either the fire department or the building department in terms of the occupancy limit.
Oh, great.
I know that the number is currently 10 people per 1,000 square feet, or, you know, whatever, for some percentage of the occupancy. So
Right.
those are the kinds of things that we need to be careful about. And again, ensuring that 6 feet of social distancing. So, but they can be helpful to you there.
Yes. Yeah, because there's a lot of calculations where, like I said, it's not just, oh, the building is this big.
Yeah.
We have shelving, we have tables, and I want to make sure that it's not just a blanket number, that it reflects the space.
Trustee Macy Phelps, did you have a question?
Yeah, Lizzie, I think that sounds great. It would certainly be nice. I agree. I think that the appointments probably are a barrier, just because,
Another step.
probably psychological more than anything else. I guess has the staff given any thought yet to how you would manage things with students?
No, that has come up, of, you know, what do we do if 30 middle schoolers come in the building?
Right.
We haven't. I don't really want to go down the road of, you know, oh, because you're this age, you can't come in the building. I do think that it's going to be a transition of, there's still no, you know, chairs to sit down.
Right.
If you dropped your backpack down in the middle of the floor, we would ask you, you know, you're here for browsing. We especially, you know, have language like, we're open, please keep it to a half hour. We're not going to be time policing people, but I think it might take a few, if they decided to use the library that way, I think it's going to take a few days of us just kind of, oh no, you can't sit down. You know, we'll help you find books, help you print something out, and that will.
Right. It's not, I agree with that. I think that kind of messaging will probably make it self-regulating and in some ways be a desired barrier.
Right.
Thank you.
I have a
Yes,
question.
Trustee Van Al.
I think that could apply to some adults as well, because I think people are going to be coming in, you know, they hear, oh, appointments aren't necessary anymore, but can I come in and sit with my coffee and just read or whatever? So you may have some people that come in like that are not in school.
You're right. There's different ages, but we will keep the study appointments for the seats because those are longer, you know, space and time. But and I did have a phone call from a lovely woman who asked if we were open, and I told her about the browsing appointments, and she wanted to get out of their house for a few hours away from her husband. She said, well, he's running errands now, so it's fine. But I said, you can make it a browser, you can make a study seat appointment and just sit and read. And she was like, that sounds great. So we still have those options available.
Yes, I realized we were going to keep the study seats, but I think, you know, sometimes when people hear, oh,
yes,
it's open, so I'm going. Yeah.
Right.
But it'll be good. It'll work out fine, I'm sure.
Another thought is to put something in the Westwood Wire that, you know, that might, I know that you do a great job on the library website of, you know, advertising and updating your patrons, but I believe Desmond is going to be, you know, putting out a Westwood Wire soon. So
yeah,
perhaps you could
do the 15th, so I could probably get something in there. Yeah.
With the definition of browsing.
Right.
But Lizzie, just do work to John's point, just work very closely with the Board of Health and the fire chief and the police, make sure we get our calculations as precise as possible.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Does anybody have anything else on the COVID-19 update? No, hearing none. Thank you, Joan. You're welcome to
Good night,
stay.
everyone. I'm going to go. I'm going to exit gracefully, but thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Take care.
The next item on the agenda is the Wentworth Hall. update?
Yes,
Lizzie?
it's getting painted this week, the first floor. So we'll get to go in and see the paint. You know, you look at paint on the paint chip and it will look totally different in the building with light. So we're excited to see that. We are finishing up getting our shelving and furniture quotes. The only thing we're left to do, Claire and I are trying to find a perfect circulation desk. We want something that will be unique to the branch, a focal point, but fits the space. So once we decide on that, we will get the full quote for furniture, and hopefully we can get them ordered, because as we discussed last time, there's probably now a 15-week lead time for furniture. So I definitely think that might impact when we can be public ready, but we're doing our best to get it all, you know, everything in a line. So painting is almost done, furniture, and we'll be able to get in there and see it soon, see how the space looks.
Why don't you ask Claire to come to our next meeting, and we can have a really discussion.
Sure.
And yeah, because we really want to think about when it does open to the public, how we make it
what we do.
the best branch possible. Yes, Trustee Persons.
How are we selecting our furnishings? Do we have a budget? Do we, like, what are we using for parameters?
So we went with Tucker Interiors. That's what we used for the main library. So we have a established, you know, relationship with them. We know what they have a list of their vendors. So we initially asked them to do up the layout and the quote of, and you know, Claire has looked at the different selections for shelving. We wanted to not want to say match the main library, but we want it to feel like it's the same brand of space, even though it will be unique, which is one of the reasons I think we went with Tucker. They were great to work with for the main library. And there's not a specific budget number that I've been given. I've been told to, you know, get together what we need for the library space and put that together and then hand that over. So
that's what I was wondering, if you were told anything. Okay.
Maria.
I guess the other thing I'm sorry, Maria, go ahead.
Trustee Ryan?
Hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, will the hours of the branch be extended with the new space, or will it remain more limited?
That's a great question. As of the budget we put in for this next fiscal year, it is budgeted to be the same. So that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I am hoping that, you know, with the new location, sharing the space, we should definitely try to explore opening more hours, which is one of the things I didn't point out is that part-time reference position that's benefited, we're hoping to all the new staff that we absorb, that we are cross-trained across departments, so that would be a staff member that could also be working at the branch. So we're definitely thinking that way, but nothing official.
Okay. Yes, Trustee Persons.
The 15-week lead time, do we know if we're going to use existing furniture, or are we just going to wait until we get the furniture? Do you know?
I think we're waiting till we get. I do not think there was anything that was kept from the old branch. We did move from the old building to that pop-up space, and there was collections that we've secured, but everything else was pretty old. So it would look also very
hard to open it up with that.
Yeah.
So considering if that, I assume by maybe end of May, we can get that order in, hopefully.
Yeah.
So that's what, June, July, August, it's third week of September or thereabouts, mid-September.
Oh.
So
that's where, in my mind, I think it is, you know, and it gives us hopefully time to be in the space, even move things around how we like it, and be ready for that fall opening as the main library.
That's why I think I like the idea of having gone with somebody we've done business with before, because that might help us to expedite things if we're been a good customer and somebody whose business they would like to keep in the future.
But by that point, we will have had our technology installed and everything else.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing that would be.
Yeah.
I guess obviously then the books have to come and everything else.
And Claire has been ordering books, so we have a fresh new collection. we're ordering the children's summer reading books, which are always really popular, so that when we are open and the shelves are there, that they'll be, you know, all the past year's best sellers there. So we are working towards that as well.
Great.
Is it something that Chris should be aware of right away, this like lead time, to make sure that he's
We
aware?
have told, you know, we've been working closely with Jimmy McCarthy because he's also, you know, in charge of all the facilities. So he needs to know, we're basically going to give him our order. And so, and he's not surprised. And I mean, I'm assuming it's the same for youth and family services too, for their office desks, all of that will need to be ordered. So I think they're well aware of it, but.
In the absence of furniture and stuff, you said we may try to do some sorts of services. Even if people can't make it down, they'll be able to get
right.
books.
And you know, with depending on where we are, even then with COVID in that space, because it's not as large as the main library, it might be limited in terms of how many can come in at one time. And so, yeah, we're thinking outside the box of how we can deliver service in a way that's safe.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll move on. Anything from the Friends of the Library update? Trustee Cole, Trustee Van Al, anything to?
Their annual meeting is May 19th, 7 o'clock. There are still seats available according to the library website, and Jane Healy will be speaking about her newest book, Lizzie, or just her books? Yes.
I think her books in general, but she definitely will be talking about her new one.
Yes, which I read. It was very good.
World War II.
So that's something to keep an eye on. And then the next board meeting is in June. So that's about it right now.
Okay.
Unless Jess has something else.
You want to add anything, Trustee Cole? No? Okay, thank you. Anything from the 21st Century Fund, Trustee Macy Phelps?
No, thanks, Paul. The fund meets again. It will meet again in June.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of acceptances and expenditures. I will accept a motion to approve and accept the expenditures and acceptances on the report dated May 10, 2021. Moved by Trustee Persons. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Van Al. I'll call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps.
Aye.
Trustee Persons.
Aye.
Trustee Van Al. Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Ryan.
Vote on this though?
Yes. Yep.
I still, yeah, aye.
Okay, great. And the chair also votes aye. Approved unanimously. And I'll come by in the next couple of days and sign the report. Yeah, the yellow folder. I always look for the yellow folder. All right, thank you. The next we have is new business, and I have one item or two that I'd like to mention. Regardless of who we select as the new library director, the strategic plan will be the top priority that we have to be moving forward on at this point in time. That and obviously the Islington Branch Library. So I would like to have a subcommittee of this board sort of start focusing on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Trustee Macy Phelps, you've been through this before.
Yep.
So would you mind sort of spearheading that subcommittee?
I'd be happy to, Paul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who else would like to be involved? Obviously, all of the trustees are ultimately involved in the strategic plan, but I need to have some trustees sort of focusing on it because we'll be focusing on the transition to new director and Islington. I just don't want, I want it to be a priority as well. So if you'd let me know if you'd be interested, or let Trustee Macy Phelps know.
Happy to, with her guidance.
Yeah, okay.
And just one comment. I know
Yes.
Lizzie told us last time that she spoke with someone at wherever that was.
MLS.
MLS.
The Massachusetts Library System. Yep.
And suggested that we wait until the library director was on board and settled a little bit until we started that process.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what settled a little bit means, but or something of that, so is that, I mean, I guess we can, there's probably things we can start doing.
Yeah.
But
I would just like us to be focused on it and scoping it out and things like that. To the extent, I agree, we obviously have to wait to the new director, but I'd like to have things, as much in place as possible so we can move forward.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
Lizzie, I have a question, Paul. Lizzie, is there something we need to do to notify the state that we will not be submitting up, it might go a little bit more than 5 years?
I don't think there's anything official. The only thing that we not doing it this year or by October, whatever it was, is we couldn't apply for like state grants or federal grants for the next year. So, and we hadn't planned for that. We do have a lot cooking in the kitchen right now. So that was one of the reasons why unless that, you're in dire need for that, and we're fine. So I will double check with MLS to make sure there wasn't a form. I think we still submit our annual action form based on our last strategic plan. So we'll submit that in the fall. But I think it's a good idea. We can get planning now of so you're not rushed doing it in a small 2-month plan. You now have time to do the different data gathering.
Interestingly, one of our candidates spoke about they submitted a 4-year plan also.
And there's also one of the things I said, a lot of people are moving to even 3-year because things are changing so drastically.
Right.
Yeah.
So it keeps you focused, on.
Yeah, there's reason to think that, but I mean, to consider those other terms.
I also read that there are a number of libraries who are not going to be submitting their 5-year plan in September. So I think we're probably in good company in that for different reasons, but
right.
We're in good company.
Yeah.
I think and staffing and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the other thing that we had talked a little bit about at the last meeting was the fire truck. And so I don't know, Lizzie, if you had any, for those, Trustee Ryan, you might not know this, but Lizzie has been, why don't you just give us an update?
I procured us a fire truck. Yeah, there's a fire pump truck that is no longer of use to the fire department in town. And for various reasons, it does run. I double checked that. The water tank was leaking and it needs some work done for their specialty, but we do not need a water tank. So I talked to the fire chief and told them my idea of transitioning it into a library vehicle, but we can still park it there, which is one of my main questions I had is where can I park it? And coordinating it as an outreach vehicle. And I attached some articles for you guys to peruse that explored, especially during the last year, how libraries and communities that had outreach vehicles were amazing asset to their community for various reasons. So I've never seen a fire truck one, so I'm really excited that it will make us stand out. There's been a lot of there's been ambulances, but across the map, I've never seen a fire truck into a bookmobile. So it runs. There's a lot of practical things that are already figured out. It would be, how do we the easiest thing is that we have books in a box and we put a table and chairs in the back and we can pop up at this, a senior living, at one of the schools for summer reading. And with our hotspot and a computer, we could do library service. I was talking with Jared from Board of Health and I said, we could collaborate on, if you were doing information about vaccines or blood pressure clinic, we could bring our library fire truck and either have computer to help people sign up for things, have books, lots of different things. So there's a low cost option of just doing it as is. But I think it was actually Courtney Murray, who said, you should reach out to Blue Hills, the vocational school, and they have an auto department. See, this could be a project. How do you now turn this back end of it into something like a traditional bookmobile where you can get on board? So there's lots of different, and I just love the creativity of everyone in Westwood, the community, because I wouldn't necessarily have thought that, but so we're trying to keep it local, but as is. And then I got an email from Chief Deckers a couple weeks ago that just said, hey, whatever you need, we're here to support the library on this venture. So we're excited. Nice. We got to get Islington off and going, but that's on the right track. So it would be great, especially for things like Westwood Day, and we would have our own, we'd be part of the fleet. Well, I said, would this be part of the fleet? So we're excited.
And my sense is the trustees still are supportive of this and wanting to move forward with it.
Sounds great.
Yeah, think it's a good
I
idea.
love the idea.
Would you envision doing some kind of like comprehensive report to us at some point? I guess
Yes.
going through all the, you
Yeah.
know, particulars
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, the cost, what that would look like, what would yearly maintenance be, all of that. I was going to do that for you guys. So I think I said this meeting, but I'll do it for the June one. Ready
Who,
now.
who- and who gets to wear the Chiefs hat?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We
Paul
can
gets,
take-
to, Paul gets to throw the beads off the truck.
We'll take
I mean,
turns wearing the Chiefs hat.
Treasury
Trustee
have
Ryan,
it.
you have something you wanted? No?
I wanted to say, are we moving off the fire truck?
Yes, any other
And
new business? Yes.
For the first time, I had a little wireless problem at the beginning, and I'm not sure we said. I just want to say thanks, Mary Macy Phelps, for staying with us. Glad that you're still going to be
Yeah.
with us.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very pleased to be here.
That's right.
And I appreciate you taking the lead on the strategic plan.
Yep.
Is there any other new business? Then the next meeting will be June 14th, but as I said, if we're ready on a director before that, does anybody have any objection to a special meeting to move that along?
Let's
Okay.
let's do it.
Yep, we'll do it with due notice. And so I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Make a
Made by
motion.
trustee Ryan, seconded. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Van Al. The chair will call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps,
Aye.
trustee Persons,
Aye.
trustee Van Al,
Aye.
trustee Cole.
Aye.
And thank you so much, trustee Cole, for doing the secretarial stuff. It's the thankless but necessary job, and I appreciate your stepping in to do that.
My
And,
pleasure.
Yeah, and trustee Ryan, the chair also votes aye. We are adjourned until June 14th, subject to the call of the chair.
Great.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Paul.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Elizabeth.
Good night.